This body, God is not flesh, so we are not talking about this room. This is a casing. The only thing that gives you the image and the likeness of God is the spirit. Is the spirit inside of you. That's why he said the Holy Spirit will bear witness with our spirit to prove that we are sons of God. You know, for those of you that do not come for Wednesday or weekly service, you are missing a lot. Because on Wednesday, we talked about for you to manifest, you must be led by the Spirit. You must be led by the Spirit. The death of Christ brought you into adoption, but the manifestation is by the Spirit. So it is your spirit that determines that who you are. So your spirit is what bears witness with the Spirit of God that tells you who you are. So the resemblance you have with God, you know, when they do paternity tests, they can pluck the hair of the father and take the swab from the mouth of the son and do the paternity test to prove that both of them, they are related. The genetic, the DNA, whatever, will show that this man is the father of this child. The same way, the only thing that proves that God is your father is the spirit inside of you. Is the spirit inside of you. But when we talk about the spirit inside of us, most of us, we don't have an understanding of the image that we possess. We don't have an understanding of who we are in Christ Jesus. And that is what you need for you to win in life. Understanding of that first. You know, I told a story during the week of a farmer who found a lion. And he took that small cub. He took it and put it amongst the sheep. And the lion grew with the sheep. And at some point, the lion will be going about with the sheep. The lion didn't understand that it was designed to hit the sheep. It will just be going about with the sheep. But at some point, each time it looks at itself in the mirror, in the stream rather, the lion realizes that I don't look like these sheep them. They are different from me. But the moment they leave the stream, the lion will forget the look that he has. Until one day, he saw another lion coming towards them. And all the sheep started running helter-skelter. But that lion stood. Why did he stand? Because the lion saw that there is a resemblance between me and the one that is coming. It is the resemblance that gave him that boldness to stand. So what are we trying to say in essence? If you understand who you are and whose you are, you know you will have boldness in every situation. Once you understand who you are and whose you are. Revelation chapter 1 verse 12 to 17. So that you can understand your image in the spirit. You know, sometimes we focus on the image of who we are in the physical. You don't know who you are in the spirit. This is your image in the spirit. John was talking here. He said, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of God of man. That is Jesus Christ. He said, one like unto the Son of man. Don't forget, John that was talking here, John was with Jesus before Jesus was crucified. So he knew the physical Jesus, but he didn't know the spiritual Jesus. He had a glimpse of the spiritual Jesus when they went on the Mount of Transfiguration. But this place now, he was seeing the pure and the total physique of the spiritual Jesus. Look how he described him. He saw a son of man clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Now 14, he said his head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow. He said his eyes were as the flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they've been burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in its strength. Now that is who you are in the spirit. That is your identity. That is your identity in the spirit. If you read further, John said, when I saw this identity of the Son of Man, he said he fell down as dead. So most of us, we don't know that even the things that we are afraid of is afraid of us. Because what you are seeing is your physical self. But the thing that is coming against you is looking at this identity in the spiritual realm. This is the identity that situation is seeing. This is the identity that the enemy is seeing. This is the identity that the devil is seeing. This is the identity that demon is seeing. This is the identity that the universe is seeing. It is only you that is not aware that this is your identity. That's your identity in the spirit realm. Your eyes, they are like flames of fire. They are like flames of fire. The words that you say, they are like 2-edged sword. They pierce into whatever you want it to pierce into. That is your identity. But it is unfortunate that we don't know this identity. Because if we say we are joint heir with the Son, if we say we are created in the image of the Father, if we say we carry the DNA of the Father, this is who we are in the Spirit. That's who we are in the Spirit. Let's look at those who understood this thing. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. From 16 to 18. Daniel chapter 3. 16. He says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fury furnace. Let me stop there for a while, so that I can explain to some of us that do not know this story. Can you give me Daniel chapter 1 so that we can look at who these guys are? Let's look at their true identity. And then we'll now compare it with the person that is talking to Nebuchadnezzar. See, in the 3rd year of the reign of Joachim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it too. He said, and the Lord gave Joachim, king of Judah, into the hand with part of the vessel of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his gods, and he brought the vessel into the treasure house of his God. 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed. Listen, certain of the children of Israel, the king's seed, and of the princes. 4. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, well skillful in all wisdom, and in cunning, and in knowledge, and in understanding, in science, and such as the ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Stay there. Now let me explain something. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, including Daniel and plenty others that were not mentioned. They were the sons of the royals, princes, governors, important people. So they had the best of education. They had the best of training. They wear the best kind of clothes. They live in the best kind of environment. They were well trained. They were skillful. They have knowledge. You know, they were the best of the best. And then one day, the enemy came into their territory and killed the first thing. He killed all their fathers. What can be so demoralizing than that? He killed all their fathers. And after he has killed all their fathers, he now took them, the children, as slaves. And then he forced them to learn his own language. What can be so demoralizing than that? What can be so hopeless than that? What can be so frustrating than that? But if you look at that verse 3 that we were reading, these boys stood in front of the king. They said, I know who I am. No matter what you have subjected us to, I have not lost my identity. No matter what I've been through, I will not lose my identity. They were talking to the king. They said, listen, we understand that you have power over territories. We understand that you have killed our parents. We understand that you have rendered our nation useless. We understand that you have put our women into slavery. We understand that you have forced us to do some things that ordinarily we don't want to do. We understand that we were supposed to be king's children. We were supposed to be treated as king, but you made us slave to serve you. He said, but listen, this identity that we had, we cannot forget. On this, we will not bow to this your golden image. Why? Because they understand who they are. Most of us here, life situation has not done anything. You forget your identity. You forget who you are. You look at situation in the face and you begin to say, God, have mercy on me. Just help me. Help me to go through this. It is because you don't know your identity. It's because you don't know who you are. Some of us, they will tell you, if you mistakenly get to your village, you will not survive. And because you don't know who you are, you are afraid to go to the village. Some of us, your uncles, even some of us that are sitting here, your parents, you have labeled them witch. You have labeled them wizards. And because of that, you are suspecting everything around you. Each time you try something and it doesn't work out, the first thing that comes to your mind, it is that person that is doing me. Nobody is doing you. It is because you don't know who you are. You must know who you are and whose you are. If God has commanded you to go and dominate, who is that person? Or who is that power that has the right to change what God has said? Who has that right to change what God has said? There is an identity you carry. There's a personality you have. It is not what you are seeing right now. It is something more than what you are seeing right now. I think I've mentioned this here before. I was trying to cross the overhead pedestrian bridge, overhead bridge in Ojota. Me and one of my friends were discussing. And as we were crossing, a man, I don't know whether he was preaching, I don't know what he was doing. And he tried to pull me back like this. I walked past him. And he put down my friend. My friend went close. And he was saying it to that man. He said, that guy, as he's walking, there are two giants behind him as he's walking. My friend was telling me, I said, of course I know. I'm aware of that. You think I walk alone? I don't walk alone. It is not a song. It is your reality. You don't walk alone. You are not alone. You are in the company of innumerous angels. That's the company of who you are. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can change who you are. That is the DNA. That is your configuration. That is who God designed you to be. You are not trying to be it. That is who you are. So if you know who you are, why are you afraid of the devil that is roaring like a lion? I don't know if I understand English very well. He said it